I remember that out of nowhere, this trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog comes out. And no one asked for it. In fact, no one thought that you can actually make a good movie with Sonic the Hedgehog. And it's a platformer game that doesn't even have that much of a story. The whole shtick is that this scientist guy wants to kidnap animals and empower them by giving them robot bodies, and Sonic tries to stop it. It's a game that I played a lot in my childhood. It's really nice, but again, I didn't want a movie out of it. Now, I know there are cartoons and anime based on it, and they're really cool, but I wouldn't expected a movie to actually be good. And the first time the trailer was released, it made Sonic look really bad. And if they would have kept with that design, I think this movie wouldn't have done as well as it did, because 90% of the enjoyment is to see how cute and adorable Sonic is on screen, and he's really filled with charisma, and it's really nice. So the first time I wanted to go see it was with my girlfriend, and all the tickets were sold out. This was very bizarre for me. It never happened, especially not in my town, to actually go to a movie and have the entire theater packed. So I went today, and I wasn't disappointed. I mean, granted, I would say it's a children movie. Teenagers could get some enjoyment out of it. So because of that, I'm not going to criticize the story at all. I'm not going to maul at it like, how did Dr. Robotnik know that the source of the power outage was just from a footprint in the forest? Like, I'm not going to do any of that, because this movie doesn't really try to take itself seriously. It just tries to get you to laugh. And believe it or not, despite the fact that I didn't care about the story at all, the things that actually made me enjoy the movie was seeing Sonic on screen and his crazy antics. Like, he would definitely steal most of the scenes he's in. And that computer generated bastard actually manages to steal the spotlight from Jim Carrey, believe it or not. And Jim Carrey is definitely bringing his A game into this movie. You can definitely tell that he is having a lot of fun playing this campy, over the top character of Dr. Robotnik. And the only negative things that I would have to say about this movie is that you can tell the marketing team didn't have a lot of faith in it, because most of the jokes and most of the funny bits you can find in the trailer. And to me, that was a little bit disappointing, because I saw the trailer and there were a lot of spoilers there. And it did take a lot out of the enjoyment of the movie. And the other thing is, like, I'm sick and tired of seeing the same rip-off scene from, I think it was in X-Men, the first one that was made, where the mutant that runs really fast, just freezes the entire room. It just runs around and does things, and you get that into Sonic here as well, and it's like, it's so overdone. I mean, it's cliche. I think I've seen it in 3 or 4 movies by now. But anyway, those are like just minor complaints that I would have to say. But other than that, no, it was definitely enjoyable, and it actually went fast. Like, I had fun, so the movie went really fast past me. They also set up a sequel. Hopefully, we're going to see some Rogue the Bat. Maybe we're going to see some Tails in a sequel. That would be interesting. Perhaps Robotnik is going to go into Sonic's world, and the plot from the video games can happen there, with the Knuckles showing the way, and them fighting to find the Chaos Emeralds, and then Sonic the Hedgehog going supersonic. That would be interesting. Now, the elephant in the room, it's so ridiculous that this movie is considered competition or even related to Birds of Prey. But I guess this shows what happens when you take a franchise and you're at least trying to remain faithful to it, and you're actually trying to please the customers, and you're not trying to have a political message. Now, I know social justice activists pretend to be dumb and use the Maud and Bailey argument of everything is political. But when people say they don't want politics in movies, they actually want to say that they don't want preachy movies. They do not pay money to be preached at. They do not pay money so that you can stuff your ideology down their throats. That's not why people go for entertainment. When people want to learn about your ideology, they would go to universities or they would read it from a book. They would certainly not spend money in order to sit in a cinema and be preached at, directly or indirectly. So this is why this movie actually did really good, because there's no preaching. It's just a fun movie that you're there to enjoy and be entertained. Meanwhile, Birds of Prey is not faithful at all to the comic books. Like, not even the suits or the costumes or even the race of some characters fit with the ones that you find in the comic books. And it's about empowering women by making them hyper violent. I mean, what is that about? It's like, oh, we're fighting gender identity by reversing the gender roles. And now women carry mallets around and they beat up people. And that is somehow empowering because violence is the only way we know how to make powerful characters. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And I think the reason that this is even a thing, and a lot of people are salty on Twitter, is because that the director from Sonic actually decided to listen to the fans, which is something you're not supposed to do. The fans are a necessary evil. They are horrible people. Anything they say is irrelevant, and you need to listen to the media, to the journalists, and to the blue check marks on Twitter, because they're the ones that are going to try to push your product. They're the ones that have connection to Rotten Tomatoes. They're the ones that are going to give you positive reviews. And this showed that the Emperor has no clothes, because despite of all the publicity, of all the difficulty they had in order to try to push Birds of Prey and get people to watch Birds of Prey, in the end it seems that people went and saw Sonic. And by the way, if you want to know a funny joke, there's actually a lot of articles blaming men for not wanting to go see Birds of Prey. The punchline here is that there were more men than women that went to see Birds of Prey. So women themselves weren't interested in this movie. And if I were to speculate, I would say that at least most women that I know, again, I don't have a study or anything, I just look around, and most of the women that I know do not like violence. They prefer movies that are about romance, they prefer comedy. And this is why when I went to see Sonic, there were a lot of women in the cinema. There were far more women in the cinema than when I went to see Terminator, which again was a movie that was advocated, oh, this is about female empowerment and whatnot. But again, most women that I know do not enjoy seeing violence. I mean, they would put up with it if the movie has like a good romance or some comedy, like you get in Marvel Universe, I suppose, or they have like a really nice male lead, like in Thor. But other than that, no. I mean, I had this problem. I had this problem with several of my ex-girlfriends. I kept trying to get them to watch horror movies. I kept trying to get them to watch action movies, and you just do not want to. They prefer watching comedy. They prefer watching drama. They prefer watching romance, and I'm quite the opposite. So, this is why when they say, oh, this is a feminist film, and it's hyper violent, it's just women with mallets running around, and it's just not. Meanwhile, when you have something like Sonic, that's just like a comedy. It's very good nature. It's very funny and easygoing and light. A lot of women went to see it. So here you go. Write that in your articles, people at the Guardian. Maybe you should do a study about that. So yeah, if you have a kid, if you have a girlfriend, I would definitely recommend that you go and enjoy this movie, because believe it or not, it's actually good. I didn't thought that I'm going to like it. I thought it's going to be some cheesy bullshit, but no, it's definitely entertaining. So yeah, let me know what you think. And sorry, I'm really tired. It's 3 a.m. here, but I want to wrap it up, so I get to say the things that I have on my mind. I think the producers of this movie were also not expecting the reaction that they got. They managed to outperform many of the other movies that were inspired from video games, and I don't think it's just because they listened to the fans. I think it's also word of mouth, like legitimately. It was something that people enjoyed, and Word of mouth is the best type of marketing you have. It beats any type of critic. It beats any type of aggregator. It's just word of mouth. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop now because I'm going to fall asleep. So, thank you for watching, and I will definitely see you guys in the comment section.